Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be doing some pencil drawing of this tea and toast, which turns out really perfect because here in Portland, Oregon, it's a very blustery, very Winnie the Pooh type day. So I think I chose very well for today. And so let's see, before I get going, I thought I would share a little bit of sketchbook stuff because I think it's so important and also just really rich and fun. And this time of year, I want to kind of get back inside. It just feels like the perfect time to sit at your kitchen table and do some sketching. So I have a bunch of different sketchbooks and they each have a little bit of a different kind of orientation or purpose for me. So let me just go through a few of them. I think it's fun. So let's see this one first. I'll just go through. This one I kind of use for black and white primarily, but I'm designing the pages on this one. This is a little bit older sketchbook and it's pretty full. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff in here. And then this one, just set that down. This one I did urban sketching only in it. And so this one was watercolor and Lamy for the most part, Lamy pen. So fountain pen. These are a little bit gritty. These are done plein air. So these are really fun. So just designing the entire spread of the sketchbook. So that's these. And then this one, I love this bee paper sketchbook. This is a company in Beaverton, Oregon, actually, which is right by me. So this one, I kind of try to do each of the pages in a very similar way. So I'm using this one to help me get ready to do landscape painting. So doing composition, figuring out color, composition, just what I like, writing what I like about the reference photo. So I really like these. So I'm using watercolor, pen, and gouache in these. Now this paper is pretty absorbent, so you don't get really super intense color. If you want really intense color on this paper, you kind of have to add like a colored pencil or some other media to it. Acrylic paint would work too. And then this one's an older one. This one I would do pretty much, for the most part, this is an outlier here, for the most part, black and white ballpoint pen sketches. And for this one, I'm really inventing landscape compositions. These, for the most part, these are from my imagination. I'm really not looking at any particular reference. That's not entirely true for every single time. This one I remember I did sitting in my car while I was filling my gas tank years ago. So I saw something out my window and I made little notes about it. So this is fun. Little sketches with some figures in them. Again, this is entirely from my imagination. And then this is a lot more intense, kind of watercolor, more full-on watercolor sketches, designing the page, kind of having fun with the watercolors. And some of these I did on live streams, so yeah, this is a fun spread here as well. So lots of different modes for drawing and sketching. And this one I use just to practice drawing. So I'm just drawing in here, just kind of random drawings. Practicing, getting good at doing the animals, practicing ellipses, just whatever it is, just sitting down. A lot of these I'm just sitting down in front of the TV, on my couch, just drawing. Okay, and then of course I have the iPad and I'm doing a lot of the Procreate stuff. I'm doing the head drawing. So drawing. And that brings me to mention that there are 3 days left in our drawing sale. So there's a $15 off coupon. And so head over to paintinglessonswithmarla.com and check it out. There's a coupon code that's in the description of the video today that's double draw. And this workshop is really pretty rich. It's design, compose, and draw is the new one. And then the drawing and sketching is also on sale. And the design, compose, and draw is really about using the fundamentals of drawing to communicate communicate ideas on the page. So that's what that one's all about. And I see people on the Facebook group posting their new work from the workshop, and it's really awesome. I love seeing it. Okay, that brings us up to date, I think. Oh, and I do want to remind you guys, if you're watching, make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and definitely head over to paintinglessonswithmarla.com. That is where all the action is, and we have exclusive content over there, free mini lessons, so there's lots to dig into. That is where all the action is. So, alrighty, today, oh, well, before I get to today, let me just show what I did the other day. This is a new mini lesson. If you head over to the website, you can get the mini lesson. I did this rose drawing the other day, so there's a mini lesson over there. And I'm seeing lots of people drawing this rose, so that's really fun. Okay, and so today I have recreated the little photograph. This is my grandma's teacup. So I have a collection of a few of these from my grandma. The toast that I toasted this morning is a little thinner. It's the one in the photograph is that kind of ciabatta. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure. Bread, really thick. I think a little bit thinner ciabatta. Is that how you say it? Ciabatta. I should know that. I don't. Okay, so ciabatta bread. So I'm kind of going to bounce back and forth between my little setup here and the reference photo. I'm happen to be quite a bit more above the teacup as I'm sitting here looking at it. So my view of the ellipse, it's a different angle. So I really am wanting that more oblique angle of the ellipse that's more on the photograph. So I'll kind of be using both. Also, in the photo, I can see the design on the teacup a little bit better. Here I don't see as much of that. All right, so that's it. When I get started here, I'm going to press a little bit harder than I would typically, and that's so that you guys can see. When I'm doing that initial construction stage on my own, I'm going to be drawing really, really lightly. So I'm going to be pressing a little bit harder than I actually would. Now today, I'm going to start on a piece of tracing paper because I want to just get that feel for the ellipse and a feel for how I want this guy to sit on the page. So the first thing I'm going to do, here's my bond paper, and so I'll come in and get my bounding box. I always feel like that bounding box helps me to visually see the boundaries of my composition and lets me see the relationship of the figure and ground a lot better than just judging from that very edge of the paper. And it seems like it's not that big a deal, like, oh, what's that, so what? You've got this little line. But seeing what's happening there, the relationship of the negative shapes to the background, it's really important. Okay, so now I'm thinking, do I want my teacup to be in the whole thing, or do I want to leave a section? Maybe I want to leave a section of this for maybe something else. Maybe I want to put some type in my thing. I think so. So this is going to be a type block, a block of type, and maybe I'll put some other something, maybe some other little kitchen thing here. And so I'll let my teacup live over in this section. So that tells me a lot how big do I want to make this? All right, so now I want to make sure that my ellipse is nice and level. So I'm just going to come along and feel it out. Just feel it out. Now that's a little big, I think, because my toast wants to sit in here, so I don't want to get it too large. So just feel it. And it just takes some practice. I think that's pretty good. And then the T is going to be sitting down in there. And then if I bisect that. So I'm eyeballing. There's ways of doing that ellipse where you can do a little bit more careful, technical drawing. But today I'm just going to eyeball it. And that's usual for me. I feel like that's adequate. I don't need to have, I'm not a technical illustrator. It's not an engineering drawing, so I'm okay with it being a little more loose. And here's my handle. It's got kind of, this cup has a kind of interesting little handle. And then I've got my ellipse for the saucer. And where is that coming from? It intersects the handle right about there, right about there. So again, I'm going to come and I'm judging by this plumb line that I've set up for myself. And just coming along. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I think that's pretty good.
So Marla, what kind of mechanical pencil is that?
This is just a Bic mechanical pencil, and it happens to be an HB number 2. And I like them. They're inexpensive, lightweight, and don't have to worry about them. Okay, and then here is my little toast. Okay, so I don't want it to be quite as thick as this guy. This kind of comes pretty straight right towards me. That's kind of interesting. And so I'm not going to make the edge of the crust quite as thick. So something like that. All right. So that's kind of what I'm keying on here. Now what I'm going to do next is a classic illustrator move. Classic. Back in my Illustrator days. And that is, all right, I've got this. This is my thing. And I'm just going to set it under here. And I can kind of see through. So now, when working as an illustrator, we would do as many passes with the tracing paper as we needed to until we got the drawing worked out the way we wanted it. So that's just not cheating. That's a little So the thing is, I've got my space. So here's my bounding box. So if I had just started in on the drawing without, I would have probably had a tendency to get the cup a little large and relative to these other elements. I want this a little higher. So here's where my type's going to go. Set in there. So I'm all set.
Another question, Marla.
Yeah.
Do you ever use a light table?
Yeah, back in the day, yeah, we used light tables. We used light tables and lucigraphs and all kinds of, whatever it took, whatever you needed to get the job done. That's what you did.
We had a video a couple years ago where you actually just put it on the window.
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah, a window light. If you don't need a light table all the time, a window is very serviceable for that. Okay, so there is my thing. Feeling pretty good about that. And there we go. There it is. So I don't need that anymore. And now I can, if you want to, you can erase some of your construction stuff, but you don't have to. All right, so now I get to start in earnest, doing a little bit of this and that. So this is definitely a combination of the two. It's just flopped. I think it's just flopped. All right. So once I have that, I don't know how much I want to do here. Let's see. Could be fun to really. So now I'm going to use a little bit of a faceted line to do some of this. And you could use a kind of a faceted line to build the ellipse too, like thinking about it like that. That's a good way to go too. Now, I've got this a little off. Just kind of getting my bearings here. There we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get some idea of these flowers in here. I really like them. Roses. I am going to grab a piece of that tracing paper because I can see that I'm smudging that. Yeah, I want to put a piece of tracing paper under my hand. Like that. All right, let's get these roses kind of going. Just use a kind of squiggly line. Up out of the way so I don't get in the way. This is the thickness of the edge of the plate. I saw some people on the Facebook group that already did this. You guys are on it. It's amazing. I'd just love to see that enthusiasm for drawing. All right, I'm going to say where these cast shadows are. And I'm eyeballing. That's okay. Coming around. You know, and the butter on the toast. Love that. I'm going to do the butter that's on my, the one I toasted today, because it's just a little more, has a little bit better form. There we go. And I think that's kind of the good. Now I'm kind of ready to roll. I take that out because that's not all right. Get rid of a little bit more of my construction. You don't have to do that. Sometimes the construction of your drawing just lends a lot of character to it. And other times it just is distracting. So it depends on kind of the look that you're going for. And I'm just going to start to pull in a little bit of value here and there. Quick blend. This is in shadow. I'll go ahead and get highlights and that little gold later, but for right now I just want to set in some value.
Marla, do you want to comment a little bit about the difference between a kneaded eraser and the type of eraser that's on the mechanical pencil?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of different kinds of erasers. A kneaded eraser is kind of good for just cleaning up soft marks and pulling out value from something. This eraser is a little bit, it's a little bit more of a precise tool, I would say.
Well, the kneaded eraser also doesn't leave anything behind.
Right, it doesn't.
And have you used a rechargeable battery eraser?
Pardon?
Mechanical, remember that one? You have. I asked the question, but I know the answer.
Oh,
You
you mean the electric eraser?
electric eraser, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have a small one. You can get ones that are really, really powerful, and I don't have that. But
the erasers on the Bics are not bad at all.
yeah, they're not bad. I'm impressed by these little pencils, and they're just fun. Also, I like things that you know, you don't have to hunt for. You don't have to go to the art supply store for. You can get these at, Office Max. And I do like that kind of thing. So to me, at this point, this guy, it's just such a relaxing thing just to sit, a quiet kind of observational study, and just draw. And drawing's so great because it's just so simple. And sometimes when we're using pastels or oils or acrylics, that the materials get to be a little tedious. Always having to have all this stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but just if you want to just sit down and make some art, and not overthink it, drawing is the way to go. And you can do it everywhere. I mean, I could be doing this at a coffee shop or waiting at the doctor's office or whatever. I bring my iPad pretty much everywhere with me. And including on airplanes. I'm sure I'm really annoying to people. It's like, but I think there's a lot worse ways to be spending your time. So, now, if I wanted to get in here and do a really photorealistic rendering of this, which this is not that's not how I think about this, but if I wanted to, how I would approach that is to do what I'm doing right now and then do it again and clean it up to the degree that just refine. So that idea of putting that tracing over it and doing it again, that's what I would do if I was wanting to get this to be like a very, very, very precise drawing.
Question and a comment.
Yeah.
Well, comment is Janet said, be sure to like this video.
Yeah, be sure to like the video.
Like it,
yeah.
and also, of course, be sure to go to the website.
Yeah,
as well.
be sure to go to the website. Yeah.
But also your iPad, what size is it? What's the specs?
Oh yeah. I've got the big kahuna. Because just so it's the big 13-inch one. It's the Pro, and it's got a lot of memory on it. Because these days I use it for so much. I find myself more and more on the iPad for so much of what I do. So yeah, and I've got the pencil. You kind of have to have the pencil stylist, and unfortunately, the new iPad you can't use the old pencil with. You have to have the new stylus, which is a little bit of a bummer, I must say. draw through, make sure that cast shadow. I'm gonna get in here in the side of this.
So one little little detail here is that we do have it's pretty windy. So
Yeah.
if we cut out, it could
Oh.
be because we lose power.
Oh, don't say that,
I
Kevin.
know, but
Why
I
are you
just wanted
saying that?
I don't want no, but
Okay.
I felt the
Oh.
wind whipping, and I feel like there's an advisory and everything. So
Oh, yeah, and actually, I think my power did surge this morning.
we might have an abrupt goodbye.
Yeah,
Suspect
yeah.
that.
So if you see us go away, that's probably why. I'm gonna give it a little like that. I just feel like that wants that little. That's kind of nice for this one. I don't always do that. Sometimes I enjoy just the quality of the line, but today just that is. Oh, you're right, Kevin. Oops, I shouldn't. It is windy. I want it. This is a little. Yeah, we went from basically summer to middle of the winter in the course of a couple days. Felt like it was really abrupt, and it often is here this time of year. But I don't know. I particularly felt it this year. Was not prepared. Okay, I'm going to come down here. Often when I'm drawing or painting, if I get stuck, I'm not stuck on this, but if I'm getting a little bored in a section, I just move on to the next section. There's plenty to do. There's a little scallop on this saucer. It's going to be fun to get.
So the reference photo here, that's a photograph. It's not a color drawing or anything like that.
Oh yeah, it's a photo. Yeah. I know it has a kind of quality about it that's a little. I know what you're saying because it does have that. So in essence, I'm cross-hatching here because I'm coming. So I did a vertical line, and now I'm coming back over it with a horizontal one. And now on the toast, I don't want to do every little, bit of this texture on the toast. So I'm going to come up with a kind of a squiggly line. See that? Just a little, it's just a squiggle. And then to kind of stand in for that texture of the toast. This guy has some cool little holes and ciabatta. Is that how I'm supposed to say it?
Ciabatta.
Ciabatta. Honestly, I should know these things, right? Hey, I know about other things. Pastels and now I am going to do some cooking. I've been cooking. I'm on a cooking rampage of late. This is fun. I think this time of year brings out the desire to cook cold weather. Coming together. A little darker at the base of the cast shadow there. And as it comes away from the form, it gets a little bit lighter, a little bit more reflected light spills into it. I'm gonna get that little hole. I love that little spot right there. I'll have to come back to that and get that later. That's the butter.
So, for sketching on site or plein air sketching,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a sketchbook recommendation, the size, kind of paper, tear off sheets, spiral bound, that kind of thing?
Oh boy, there's so many choices. You really have to, and you really have to play around, discover your own. Now, for watercolor sketching, I really like the Pentalic. I like the size of it. Well, it comes in different sizes. Mine are I think they're 7 by 10. Is the size I like. I like that size because it fits really nice in my purse. And I like the quality of the paper.
Pentalics are also nice because they're bound, but they lay flat.
Yeah,
The binding doesn't kick up too much on you.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
spiral bounds are good because they lay totally flat, and you don't
Yeah,
have to deal with the binding as much. But then they get busted up and stuff.
yeah, they do. Yeah. I really think just start. Just if you're not somebody that is really has taken up a sketchbook practice ever before, just start. Just get something and start playing around with it because once you fill one sketchbook, you'll get hooked. You'll be like, okay, this is cool. I love the idea of just having stacks and stacks of them. And I've said this so many times to students that if I had to grab anything from my house, it would be in an emergency. It would be my sketchbooks. It would not be finished paintings. I would go for those sketchbooks because they're the storehouse of your ideas. And like diaries. So To me, they're so important.
Yeah, also that book, Drawing Ideas, um, it's by Bassinger or whatever, I think.
No, I don't know which one you're.
The one
Oh,
you
yeah,
gave
that
me
one.
for Christmas a couple
Oh,
years
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
That one has a lesson about how to make your own sketchbooks
Oh, right, yeah,
out of or binding your drawings, which is kind of cool.
yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Now that's something that I probably personally wouldn't do because I'm doing so many other kinds of art making things. I mean, but they're making books and sketchbooks is of course an art in of itself. To me, that would be like making handmade pastels. Just like, wow, there's so many great things on the market that I wouldn't, find that a good use of my time. But
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that little lesson in the book. I never got around to doing it myself, but
yeah,
you use a drill and stuff, and
yeah.
that's pretty neat.
This is fun. I'm using the kneaded eraser. It's really good for pulling out. So I've got a little bit of value because I'm smudging. So I can use the kneaded eraser to pull out lights. Really want, there's a couple little highlights in the T that I want to get. Let me get over here and finish this up though so that it all kind of makes sense. And then I'm going to I'm going to go over, restate some of the lines, give a little bit more strength to some of the lines. Just do some articulation of the drawing. Gives it that kind of polish. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to let myself have a little fun with it and like so. Go outside the lines a little bit.
Another question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you work from right to left?
Oh, I just did in this case. No, it wasn't conscious. And sometimes it's a matter of like where stuff is sitting and how I see it. And my reference, I'm mostly looking at the iPad and it's over here. So I'm here working that towards the reference. It might be responsible for that today. Felt like this was a little strong. Don't need it to be that. Yeah, it's interesting, when some of the things that we're doing in the studio and on camera are specifically because we're on camera and because that way we can show it to you better, not having to do with my process of drawing. So We try to make that clear, but it's not always. A good example of that is we recently on the Facebook page, I saw that one of our students had made a cart similar to the one Kevin made for the studio, in the big cart with the big caddy that holds the pastels, and her husband or someone had made one just like it for her, and we have on the top of it, on that caddy, we have a, what would you call that, Kevin?
A railing.
A railing that runs along the top of it, and we put that on there so that we could attach cameras to it. But her husband or whomever put that on there. But it actually is kind of functional. It's great for putting your coffee or putting stuff on.
And it turns out that the camera clip didn't work because it would shake the camera.
It didn't work, yeah. So, but it still was functional for us. But just so that kind of thing happens.
Yeah, the caddy's pretty great.
Yeah, caddy's great. Yeah.
Right. Will you spray this drawing when you're finished?
Okay, so this drawing is on bond paper. It isn't meant to be any kind of finished deal. So I probably, I've got a bunch of these now like this on the bond paper, and what I do is I put them in a plastic sleeve and I put them in a binder, and so now that binder has sort of become another type of sketchbook for me. So I probably this wouldn't be the kind of thing that I would think of as a finished thing, and wouldn't probably spray it. You know, that's the other thing I like about drawing, is the idea that not everything that we make as artists is supposed to be, my intent is not, a finished thing. My intent is to just have the experience and the process of drawing and really just enjoy it. Sometimes I think when we get so focused on the end result and lose sight of that process and the learning experience and the sheer joy of observational sketching and of mark making. Which for me is pretty profound. There's nothing more wonderful than just sitting and drawing. You just get lost in the moment. You cannot do that. You cannot draw if you are focused on other things. You can't be on your phone. You can't be it's just not possible to do it. So drawing just really gives me the opportunity to be in that mode. Let's see, I'm gonna pull out a few little lights on my cup. Get a couple little highlights going, I think. Let me see if I can pull them out. Oh, I might need this guy. A little bit stronger eraser than the let me see if I can get it. I'm going to go ahead and just get right down to the white of the paper if I can. Couple spots now. What I'm going to do now is just come back over. I don't know if that worked as well, but it's okay. All right. Perfect subject for today. Blustery day. I like how the toast turned out in the butter. All right, so make sure you get over to the website and check out our 2 drawing workshops that are on sale. Only 3 more days, so this is your opportunity to get in there and check those out. And check out the other things that we have on the website. We have lessons in watercolor, acrylic, oil, and of course pastel. So let's get this out of here for a second. So now this can really become a really nice, I don't know what else I would do. I might give this a little value up here, maybe in a kind of playful way. Get some type going here. Maybe I'll write about the blustery day we have, and some other kitchen thing here. I don't know what that might be exactly. Maybe it's a tea bag. I'm not sure. Okay. I think that is it for today. That is our tea and toast. I hope you had a really good time. I hope some of you drew along with us today and got into that really wonderful mode of drawing. Just get lost in drawing. And in the meantime, definitely don't forget to like and subscribe and share our videos with your friends. Our channel has tons of content on it now, both live streams and other videos on lots of media. So check it out and hope to see you guys really soon. We'll be back with another live stream soon. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.